I felt great when I attended Sunnyside's National Night Out,
Uh-huh.
and I got my Gen X Talk Show News Award from
Oh, yeah. I
City
was
Council
happy to
member
do that.
Yolanda Joe, a.k.a. Joe Jones. I was just so excited about that. I mean, tonight is a very special night because it's the premiere of Gen X Talk Show News that via Black Talk Radio, the CEO being Scotty Reed. And so it is a very special show tonight. I mean, he is so talented, and he's on the line as well. So I want to say shout out to the chat room right now.
I would like to give him a shout out, and I'd like to congratulate you. I am increasingly impressed by young black people who are taking the initiative to go out and tell our side of the story. I mean, it's really important. Again, that's why I'm so really excited about Barack. But a lot of people just don't know that we are people just like they are people, and we have hopes, dreams, and aspirations just like them, and we can overcome obstacles. In fact, I think we overcome obstacles better if we decide that that's what we're going to do and just figure out a way to do it and have a support system to help you. So back to your question about how I overcame it, I asked for help from people. I mean, whenever I thought about killing myself, and in fact, I tried when I was younger because I had a very hard childhood. I would call my aunt or call my grandmother, and they would tell me I was worth something, and I moved out of my mom's home when I was 17 just because I needed to do that, and I've been supporting myself since then. But my grandmother and my aunt and my coach in high school were instrumental. My teammates were helpful. They didn't know when I didn't have food at home, but all of my teammates had cars and I didn't. We didn't have food, so I'd call them and say, let's hang out. And inevitably, they'd take me to their houses and they'd have food. So they didn't know they were responsible for giving me the only meal I got that day. So, I mean, stuff just sort of worked out.
And the way that what I appreciated about it is the fact that you had all these things going on. You still did not lose your focus. You still were able to make the grades. You still were able to move out and move on, that's a very young age.
Yeah, it is, but I probably wouldn't be around if I didn't, so.
Mm-hmm. And,
I mean, sometimes you have to make really hard decisions.
In fact, Scotty says, there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
You have to, in order for you to move forward and be positive, you have to be willing to truthfully look at yourself, and if you need help, you need to ask. And, one thing I know, if I don't know it, I will figure out where I need to go to learn it. And I try to surround myself with smart people and people who will help me and people who will, if I make a mistake, they won't embarrass me. They'll constructively criticize me and give me the knowledge I need to move forward is how I try to live my life. So.
In fact, when I was just thinking as you were talking, kids are cruel, and it's sad to say that, but they are. I mean, I can remember a time where, I was afraid to go to school because they had this bully, and, I mean, she would literally threaten to beat me up all the time, but still, I was kind of like the geek in school. So, I mean, no matter what she tried to do, if I had to run the other way or avoid her like the plague, that's what I would do, but I would definitely go to school.
Right.
I mean, and growing up in the neighborhood, like you said, being a celebrity, I consider you a celebrity. Anyone that can survive that show is a celebrity, because I don't think I can dog paddle for a mile.
When I was, at Elsik High School, when we had to train, and when it was cold, we couldn't go out on the track and run, so we actually had to swim. We had to do workouts swimming, so I was able to swim.
And being an athlete in college and now, I mean, like you said, if someone was to see you, you're 42, you're still young. And
absolutely.
I mean, even Scotty, that's young for you too, because he says in the chat room that he's the same age as you. And
yeah.
I say that's young. And, if you look at you, you definitely would say, well, she's maybe 25 years old. She can do all these things. But 42 and still looking 25.
I'm about to be 43 in less than a month.
You see? I mean, and still looking 25 and still can get out there and all the things that you have been through, and you still look 25. I mean, you got to have some faith in something. I know you have faith in yourself, but what else is, I mean, besides you had your grandmother you said you would call, who else was an inspiration to you?
Oh, my grandmother, my mother. My mother taught me to fight for those who don't have, and to have the courage to stand up, or, for the right thing, even if other people want to do wrong. And so those are the people that I went to probably consistently. My mom and I have worked stuff out, but as I get older, and anyone who's past 30 can appreciate this, at some point you become your mother.
Yes.
And, there were things that I didn't understand, but I know that the reason I was able to help shut down the DNA crime lab is because my mother taught me to fight through it. And I mean, when you grow up in a single-parent household and your mom doesn't have enough money, and we get evicted, and we have to get together as a family and get all of our stuff in boxes and figure out who's going to take us and come get our stuff and so you learn to work together, and you learn to get through even the most difficult of circumstances. I remember when our house burned down when I was in 10th grade, and we're all standing outside. I'm half naked because the clothes were in the house burning, and my mother, I mean, think about this. I don't know how my mother was. My mother's 19 years older than me. I was 16, so I guess she'd be 37. We're standing outside. She's got 5 kids, one of which is a year, and our rent house is burning down. My mother figures out how to call everybody and figure out where to get us distributed to. So one of my friends comes and gets me, and my mother drops us off, and she makes sure we all get to school the next day. And I go to school the next day. I'm wearing one of my friend's school clothes, and somebody's like, "I smell smoke. Do you smell smoke, Joe?" Because my friends call me Joe, and I'm like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Why is there smoke?" And I'm like, "Well, our house burned down last night." And when they asked me why, I was too embarrassed to tell them that we didn't have electricity. We were using candles. But I just said we had an electrical short, and went to school the next day and took a test. So you think about what I learned. My mother didn't say, "Okay, when it gets really tough, this is what you do." But if your mother can get 5 kids out of the house at night when you can't see anything and we're all safe, and get us to a safe place so that our day can be normal, or as close to normal as you have the next morning, you learn that even when it's really hard, and even when you're outside standing at 16 embarrassed because you are in panties and a T-shirt, to keep your head up and go to school the next day. I just learned tremendous life lessons struggling like I did. And now that I'm older, I appreciate all the stuff that I went through, because the truth is, what can anybody do to me? I've been shot at, I've been raped, I've been incested. I mean, nobody can do anything to me that I hadn't already survived. So I know even if they do it, I can live through it and still achieve stuff. So it gives me a certain level of confidence and self-assuredness that I wish more people had.
In fact, I'm just wanting to back up a little bit about the Houston DNA crime lab. Now, this was a major story over Fox News and all the news channels here in Houston and abroad. And the one thing that a lot of the listening audience must understand, we're located here in Houston, Texas. Now, as they say from the movie Apollo 13, Houston, we have a problem. I mean,
oh, absolutely. The criminal justice system here.
The criminal justice system
here in Houston is offensive to humankind, really. We lock up innocent people. We kill innocent people. They have a convict at all cost mentality. We send more black men to prison than anywhere else in the world. We send more people to prison. The numbers are staggering. I mean, we won't, and I'm saying I'm not a part of it because I fight the system, but
yes, you do.
We will, the scientists for the crime lab and for the crime lab was saying results weren't what they were. So, for example, I had a client, they said the test results said that my client raped a kid. My client did not rape a kid, but the analysts lied. They were dry labbing, which means they were pretending to perform tests and creating conclusions and convicting people. It's craziness. I don't even know how to describe it, but